Theo, fijn dat ik weer hier ben en dat je mijn haren gaat knippen. Ik had graag lekker kort.
Zoals wel de shorts hairstyle.
Ja, met die piekjes hier.
Ja.
En dan hier zo bij de oren.
Soft
En dan
lines.
lekker niet in één keer zo opgeschoren, maar ja goed, jij weet dat wel.
Ja.
Jij weet hoe dat moet. En dan leuk van die plukjes.
Yeah, tell us what a nice, short, fresh spring, summer hairstyle. In our natural colors.
Ja.
Wil je een rondje draaien?
Ja. Kijk eens van een bos.
And she really loves short hair.
Oh, ik ben zo blij dat het af is.
Dankjewel.
Zo.
Hello friends on YouTube. Toss is back to have a new hairstyle. I'll start of course with protection like I always do. I'm gonna work on this. Of course.
Theo, you have a nice cape.
Yeah. Toss always wondering where her hands are, but now she can see them. But for those hairdressers that have a lot of young people in the salon, they can watch that on cell phone. But I don't like it in the shop because I don't like people on the cell phone while I'm doing the hair because I'm not a robot, I'm a person.
Zo is het.
Start by wetting the hair. I put a little bit, no yellow spray on the hair to reduce while I'm cutting the yellow colors that are still into the hair speed. It's not much, but it looks more fresh. It's a product of Attitude. In the Netherlands it's delivered by Rover Hair. But you can find them on the internet, of course.
Wat doet dat met je haar, Theo?
Het haalt gele gloedjes eruit. Maakt het wat frisser, wat spannender.
Het ruikt lekker.
Ja, lekker hè?
Ja.
Doesn't come with smell, but Tos tells me it smells really nice. Leave your garden brush, then I'm certain that it's nicely spread.
Oh, die borst zit fijn.
Yeah. I think a neighbor is cutting his wife to half. I want a short hairstyle, so I go short.
Fijn dat je tijd had. Oh.
Yeah. My scissor is a T.K.S scissor. It's a wheel slicing tool, but that's why it's also very, very sharp, and I really love sharp tools. Een stukje in de vingers laten kijken. Take up every time about a centimeter, almost a centimeter hair. Always lay the hairs to the side. Take one part up with my comb. And when you practice this enough, you don't have to part anymore. You see, I go with the flow. I really love to go into the folds of the hairs because it always gives the best results. Dat vat je uit de frame. Coming at the back, there I lift the hairs up, hold some length on the crown area, otherwise you don't get a round shape, I get a flat shape. I don't want that. Into the rounding, I take the hairs up and correct the line and travel like a clock, only not thicking. Would be something thick tack, tick tack. I know the time. It's never too late to get short hair.
Nee, zie je.
Connect it to the line I just cut. And watch through the hairs because when I come at half of the head, here I lift the hairs over to the other side. Otherwise I don't get a flow into the hairs. Go in hand cutting. And work till I get on the center line again. Pointing my fingers to the neckline and the center of that. On the fall of the skull, I go in to get that short line that she likes.
Het was een dutje kunnen doen met
Ja.
dat geluid van die scharen.
Ja, lekker hè?
The sound of the serum.
Now you see, without getting any techniques, it's really nice and fall, so that's why I do it this way.
Droom je ook wel eens van knippen? Dat je
Heel veel.
Ja?
Ik heb een fetish, hè, dus... Tos ask if I dream about haircuts. I do it a lot.
Ja.
I'm always cutting hair.
Staat nooit stil.
But I think because I share it with you, it's normal that I dream about hair.
Ja.
Because I tell you everything I do.
En de passie, hè?
Travel to the part where I left to the center line. Go in the line beneath that.
Dat zweet onder die
Onder de plastic.
Oh god, ze meneer wie handen zit.
Dan leg je ze even naast.
Ja, dat is een broei.
Kijk nou, ik heb een ei uitgegroeid.
Oh, Theo.
So now I have a nice fall to the back. You see the movement of the hairs. It goes to the back. When I'm behind the ears, I go in and point to the chin lines. And the underlines I make ultra short. And the nice thing is working with the skull is that everybody has a skull. So everybody takes with him her or his own shapes. So he always can find a new line to cut in. And it never gets boring. And even there's a difference between wintertime and summertime in the hair
Ja, dat
folds.
zei je dan.
Because the muscles will pull the hairs or release the tension on the hairs in the summertime. So in the summertime the hairs totally are different than in wintertime.
Echt wel.
And every hair has its own muscle. So when people say my hair hurts, it's not hair. The hair hurts, it's not the hair that hurts, it's the muscle that hurts.
Elk haartje.
Ja.
Prachtig ook, hè.
Mhm.
Bij elkaar zit.
And we have about 360,000 hairs on our head. So I never count them because that is very boring. Takes all day to count the hairs. We in the Netherlands recycle hair. So natural hair goes into a special basket where it's natural hair. There it's going to a fabric that takes out the proteins and the keratins. Then goes the hairs to treated hairs. And they make blankets. When there's oil pollution on the sea, they lay it on the oil pollution so they can take the oil from the sea.
Oh, super.
In the Netherlands, it's called green scissor.
weet toch ook niemand?
Dan vertel ik het ook gewoon.
Oh, geweldig.
And I think we have only one world, so we have to take care of her.
Precies.
Without a world we are nothing.
Mooi dat je dat via dit medium...
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, geweldig.
Now I start my slice techniques on the fall of the hair. So go in, set my scissor a little bit sideways, close the scissor. So I go into the flow. I can do it also in slow motion, but then I get a little bit tension on the hairs because the power I put into it makes the fun of the hairstyle. And that's a wonderful way to correct the lines and make a playful hairstyle. And the nice thing of doing a slice technique is that you're always on the point where you want the techniques. So when you take a thinning scissor, for example, it thins out over the total length of the scissor, so you don't have it on one part, and you cannot make difference in it because all the teeth are mostly the same. Now I want a bit jumpy effect on this corner, so going deep. Hold my scissor straight up. So now I have little parts that take the hairs up and give it some stability and some power. Go to the other side. The girl in white. Go in on the fall. Do the same. First set out the lines that I want to have. Tot showed me a photo of a hairstyle she had 4 years ago that she really likes.
Ja, die piekjes, ja.
Coming at the side, go into the fall again. Hold my fingers on her skin. Lay my knuckles into the holy bones so I can feel where I go. And connect to the line of cutting. Then, above the ear, I go the other way around. Still laying my fingers on the skin. And connect to the line above. The more I go to the center, the more my fingers go into the line and pointing to the center of the skull, into the neckline. Just watch what the hair does. Coming at the fall to the front, take the hairs up to the front. A bit hard to do, so you can see what I'm doing. And normally I sit at the customers and now I stand. I find doing sitting hair is better. It's more stable and it travels fast. So now I have a nice short frame line. So now I can work this out. Don't need to do much. A little bit of slice techniques on this part because it's a little bit thick. So I take only a tip of my scissor, open it and point it out. Just where I want it. Then I go to other comb because I see hairdressers working hair up with this kind of combs, but I don't like that because it's too small, not stable enough.
Een mooie witte. Ja.
So I take this kind of combs, take it up, pull on the hairs, so pull them up, so they get straight into my comb. Take your time. We're not a barber shop, so we have about half hour customer to cut hair. When you come at parts like this where you cannot reach the hairs, go in, pull the hairs the other way around, and the rest I do with a clipper. But when it would be necessary, I could do it all with scissor or comb, but then it takes a lot of time, and I really love also working with a clipper. And a lot of girls find it very exciting to have a clipper on my head. It's not that they have a fetish, but the feeling of a clipper is always nice. But cutting with a normal scissor and a comb, you get nicer shapes because they are softer, nice flowing, and you made them totally yourself. Zie je wat moet je zeggen? Coming above the ear, then you see, take the ear down, go in, travel in the line of cutting, but then in the opposite line, so I pull the hair a little bit up to the center line and to the front to get that nice fall into the hairs. So see how nice this falls. Coming to the front, wet it a bit, not totally wet. This I do also because dry hairs irritate the skin. Go in, lift the hairs up, pull them to the back, travel gently up, connecting the lines. And for those who want to practice while seeing my video, just take a comb and take a scissor and copy what I do with my hands, because that's only practice can bring you to a good hairdresser. You have to practice, otherwise you don't get the feeling of it. So when I do this, for example, here, and you are at home watching your screen, just take it with me. Try to copy my lines. You will see the fun of it. And if you want to work with me, just give me a call. Or send me a letter. By bottle in the sea. No. That takes too much time. Copy a nice roundings. Holy bone is always different. Holding some side beards, otherwise it gets too manly. I don't want that. I want to keep it feminine. So lift up what I don't like to have long, but make it nice and soft. The rest correct with a clipper. So now I can go to the back again. Lifting on the fall of the skull, so you can see the lines. And then take my comb up above. Travel in, out, on the fall of the hairs. So never cut things twice, because that's a boring thing to do. Just go to the line of cutting, not more than that. This I also do afterwards with a clipper. But again, when I want to do it with a comb, take the fine part off my comb, cutting on the back of the comb. Target on that line. So you see you can go very short without clipper. But it's only to show you that it's possible. Coming to the running on the back, first I have to go a little bit to the center line, because I have to fall into the fall, and then I go to the other side. Watch to the hairs above, watch how they fall, and then go into the lines geluidje. hè?
Nou,
And T.K.S has the same as I have. A lot of people have that.
Yeah.
That's the right red spot in your neckline.
Yeah.
So there was the stork taking you up and brought you to your mother.
ja.
Again, go to the line of cutting. Lift it up and soften it.
Ik was een hele zware baby, dus die zal het wel zwaarder behouden. Die stokken.
Ik ook, die was 8,5 pond.
Ja, ik 9.
Oh, wow.
Godverdomme.
Dat is veel, ja.
Ja.
Die heb ik laatst nog zien zitten met een ding, zijn brace om zijn nek.
Ja.
Tos was a very heavy baby. She was 9 pound.
Ja.
And the stork has now a protection around his neck. It's the only way to survive as a stork.
Oh.
I was 8.5 pounds.
Ja.
So we in the Netherlands are large babies. I'm the first in line.
Oh man.
So my mom had to do a really big job. Go in the opposite lines. Bring the hairs to the point where you can see where the fall starts. And then go into the fall. Do 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 do.
Ik kan bijna een liedje al maken.
Hè?
Ik kan bijna een song
Ja.
maken.
Do 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 do.
Die man droomt dan niet.
Do the ruffles. Do 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 do. No, we're back from the commercials now. We don't do commercials. I never do commercials. YouTube does.
Ja.
I don't like commercials that much. Although when I was young, I watched totally a lot commercials. I really loved commercials when I was young. But then they didn't lie. And nowadays they all lie.
Ja, maar liedjes en
Switched over to the fine part of my comb. Do the same as I did on the other side. Holding a nice soft side beard. Following, of course, the natural lines, like I always do. Now, I have to clean the contour line, and then I have to make the fringe a little bit more jumpy and stylish. But first I clean the contour line. Take a fine comb. Clean the contour line, leaning only on the tip. Pull the ear down. Go behind the ear. Totally down. Here's the tip of my clipper. Make a nice circle around her ears. Still have the ear fetish. Because she was a 9-pound baby. She was a 9-pound baby, but when she was 2 months old, her shape was this. So when you watch into her ears, you know what she was as a foetus, 2 months, 2.5 months old.
Ja?
Yes.
De schaaf van je oor.
Ja.
Wauw. Ja, dan moet ik straks eens goed kijken.
So then you couldn't see that she was a 9.5 pound baby.
Ja, Pixie?
Nee. You can see it on this. No, it's not true.
Oh, je zit te vergeten. Oh jee.
Nee. Maar dat is wel echt een beetje,
Ja?
dat is wel echt je foetusfoto.
Het binnenste van je oor.
Ja, dit voorkomt je.
Ja. Oké.
And everybody has his own ears. And 2 of them. Are totally different ears. Never the same.
Als je blijft groeien ook, hè?
Ja, even.
Zeggen ze.
Daar ben ik wel achter van de.
Ik had zoveel mooie oortjes 20 jaar geleden, 30 jaar geleden. Nee.
Alles gewoon net gaat wel.
Ja, dat alles schoon is, ja. Ach.
Ja, jong doorgaan is ook geen optie.
Nee,
Zolang het nog een beetje de moeite waard is, gewoon doorgaan.
ja. Zit er niks anders op, hè?
Nee, gewoon ademen.
Ja.
Go into the natural fold of the neckline. Clean also the nice short facial hairs that don't grow back as beard or something like that. People tell you that, but it's stupid.
Oh.
That's the same as you go into the military at your 20th and come out bald. And that's because of the military. It's not true. Just your hormones. Put in my comb. Connect to the line of cutting. Go to the fine part of my comb. Take the contour line. Create a nice neckline. As a service in my salon, people with short hair can go by at the end of the day and I do neckline for free. Otherwise you have to find somebody who does it for you, and that brings mostly nothing. Softly go to the line of cutting again. Turn my comb around. Create a nice circle around her ears. With the tip, I create a softness into the side beard. Ja, dit is ook slaapverwekkend.
Ja.
So far, the work on the contour line. Now I only have to do the fringe, but before I do this, I clean this up.
Wat vind ik mooi.
Ja, lekker hè?
Lekker.
Lift the skin up. Do the same to the neckline. Gently go in. When the hair is a bit hard, you wet it a little bit. I never do this with shaving cream because then the hairs grow back into the skin. Because in shaving cream there's a product just for men that pulls out the hairs out of the skin, and then before they grow back they are into your skin, so you have a red new thing you never want. A bubble. A pickle. A pickle, that's the right word. So you get a red pickle and you don't want it. Come to the front. Pulling the skin. Get in with the tip. Clean the contour line. And so far, the contour. Coming to the front, just wetted it. Now I know she wants a short fringe with different lengths. Yeah. So go in. And open my scissors a little bit more than normally. So I get that effect. Not make a straight line, of course, but otherwise you do it for nothing. fine tune. I just lay my scissor in. Take away a little bit hair, not much. Just to give it that special effect. So go in where you see the light slice. Point cut. Hairs on the nose. She never needed them.
Nee, nog niet.
Hattie de heks.
No.
Adjust the line a little bit with roughness. So now I can style the hair. I go back to my no yellow spray. Now I need just a little bit, not much. Mostly in the underhairs you need a little bit because near to the skin you always are harder to get the yellow colors. And I really love it when it is a French silver tone. Then I take my hands, you see the nice silver tones of it. Take a blow dryer and just circle with my fingers. When I want them to go that way, I turn that way. I want to go that way, I turn that way. And I want to have a lot of volume with my hands, I just do it with a flat hand. So you get a coming against effect. So far blow drying. Now I want to get a stylish product, so I combine two products with each other. I take a clay and I take a crystal turn. It's a product of glint. I take a little bit. And of Goldwell I take a crystal clear. Almost the same amount. Those I mix to each other. Put them mostly all over my hands because I can work much longer with it and I don't bring everything in one time on the hairs. Start in the back, wiggle to the front, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
Oh, the fucking amounts now.
Oh. Toss is going to sleep in a minute. Wakey, wakey! Gonna hold her awake for you. And the nice thing of the wax is when you put it into the clay, it gets more flexible and it gets also that nicely shiny, fresh hair. Mostly is nicer to see. It worked out very nicely and my reservoir is on top. So when I need a little bit more, I take it from the top onto my fingers and onto the hairs. Now this is the new hairstyle of T.K.S. Just have to shave out the lines beneath the neck paper and clean them. That's not much, so I can do it with a clipper. It's only 3 hairs or something like that, so I don't show you that. It's a real girl. We see each other next video and T.K.S will turn around to show you the end result. Bye bye.
Oh, Theo.
Aha, 2 tellers. Mag een puntje draaien.
Ja. Superman.
Superman, dat ben ik niet.
Jawel,
Met Theo, de kapper.
Theo de
Dankjewel, T.K.S.
Superman. Ik wil even kijken in de spiegel.
Ja, ik ga eens laten zien.
Ja?
Een spiegeltje erbij.
Super.
Oh, ik heb een grote spiegel ook. Kijk daar.
Prachtig.
It's nice about then you can show the customer all the lines of the hairs. And for those who have a mirror like this, for little children there's also a funny part about it because they want to remember things. So when you put them like this and you get, maybe you can see into the lines. You see a lot of toss
Ja.
coming by, and there's about 12, 13 times yourself, and most you tell there's the brothers or sisters they throw away, because you're only the only one. So we see each other next video. Bye bye.
Theo. Dank je.
Alsjeblieft.
Lekker kort.
Toss
Zo
wel
met-
de shorts, hairstyle.
Ja, met die piekjes hier.
Ja.
En dan hier zo bij de oren.
Soft.
En dan
lines.
lekker niet in één keer zo opgeschoren, maar ja goed, jij weet dat wel.
Ja.
Jij weet hoe dat moet. En dan leuk van die plukjes.
Yeah, toss one a nice short, fresh spring, summer hairstyle. In our
Ja.
natural colors.
Ja.
Wil je een rondje draaien?
Ja. Kijk eens van een bos.
And she really loves short hair.
Oh, ik ben zo blij dat het er af is.